Hey guys, it's Kid of Burn 1 with the Ray Zero deck profile. The set's been out for a little while, so I'm pretty sure most people have figured it out. The build I went with mostly focuses on early play Rem, and then the finisher of choice is the Felt level 3. I really like the Felt level 3. I think a lot of people, especially I think Japan itself, kind of sleeping on this level 3. I think it's really good. It helps you thin out your deck a lot late game after you've decompressed a little bit, which can be pretty helpful, and it builds you a lot of stock, especially if you get the change off early. But yeah, so let's get into the deck. So this is basically a deck completely laid out. I went with, if you already see, I go pretty heavy on the Felt and just run a couple Amelia level 3s for the occasional double strike if I need it. But then I also run a one of Reinhardt at level 3 because fun factor. Basically that and the change for the Felt level 3 lets you search out Reinhardt or another Felt from your deck once you refresh for free. So it's a fun card to have. And then there's been a couple games where I just clear my field and have them Reinhardt from a back row run to the center, and then my opponent kind of gets sad because of all the effects Reinhardt has. Alright, let's look at the level 0 game. Here's the level 0 game. The main beaters we kind of have here are the Felt runners. They're 2,500 mill runners. You use mill top card if it's, as long as it's not a climax you can run to an empty slot in the front row. Easy way to plus hand and gain multiple attackers for your next turn. The next card we have there is the Rim Ricky. Basically, it's a on play, pay 1, clock yourself 1 from top of the deck, then search your deck for level 1 or lower. We use this card just to set up our level 1 game since we're going for the Amelia Climax combo at 1 to help us mill the deck really quick so we can start playing early play Rems very easily. Then the next effect it has is on attack, mill the top card of your deck. If it's a Climax, you can draw 1, ditch 1. I really like this card, especially the second effect of on attack, mill 1, draw 1, ditch 1 if it's a Climax. That effect is pretty interesting in my opinion. It helps you mill out Climaxes early when you don't want to be triggering them or canceling, and it gives you a plus side to it. And also when late game, when you know you don't have that much left and there's a lot of potential damage in your deck, you can kind of mill your deck a little faster with attacking with these level 0s late game. The next card is probably my favorite level 0 Suicider in the game because of the second effect. The second effect is you can put this card to waiting room from field and discard a card to salvage any character, I believe, from your waiting room. Basically, it makes any card in your hand into the card you need at that moment. If I had space, I might run this at 4, but this card is still amazing even though I only run it at 3, and it's a level 0 Suicider too, so it easily trades with a lot of things. That second effect is great though too. When you do brainstorm, the brainstorm in the deck is the Ram brainstorm. The only effect we use it for is the brainstorm. It's a salvage brainstorm, so if there's nothing really good in your waiting room but you have one of these level 0 Suiciders in there, you can just pick it up and hold on to it for later. And it's also an easy way to discard Climaxes from your hand, especially late game. And then next we have on the top right hand corner there is the Rim the Rim support. It's a global 500. Global 500 is always decently okay. But the other effects it has is on play, mill the top 2 cards of your deck. If there is a Climax among those, this card rests. So late game, it could kind of sucks for you if you mill 2 and there's a Climax and you need this as an attack. Otherwise, it helps you mill your deck a lot early. A really big theme with what it seems like for Raise Zero is that you can mill your deck a lot really fast, and that sets up your nice early refresh at 1 like almost every game, and then also sets up you being able to play early play Rems and not having a problem getting them out in every game. And then finally, the last effect is when you play a Climax, you can give a character, I believe, 500 power till the end of opponent's turn, which is nice sometimes. It makes certain cards kind of annoying for your opponent, especially since this set does have a 102 gate counter. onto our level 1 game. It's a very straightforward level 1 game. It's we play 4-1-0 Amelia climax combo with the book. On attack, look at top up to top 4. I think it's pick a magic or weapon character from there and add it to your hand and discard the rest. This effect triggers as long as you have the climax, so you don't have to worry about missing things, or if your opponent clears their field, you don't have to reverse anything, which is great. It is a little bit understated, which is alright. We just expect for this to die next turn anyway. And it just mills your deck really quick. Like I said, the set has a lot of really good cards that lets you kind of manipulate your deck a little bit and mill your deck out a lot, so you always get that nice like level 1 refresh that you're always trying to aim for every game. And then we have our 4 beaters, which is the puck. It's an overstated puck, which is nice. It's really good against decks that run a lot of 1-0 bombs or 1-0 suiciders, like Love Live Sunshine and stuff like that. Because if there's an Amelia in play, the card gains, I believe, 2,500 power and +1 level. But whenever this card does get reversed, it goes to the bottom of your deck. So it could potentially cause problems for you late in the game. But usually throwing this on the bottom of your deck is a good thing, because you got to know your triggers and everything. And we know for the bottom card, it's not a climax. Then finally, we run 2 Reinhardts. We need more Reinhardts for the change effect anyway to search out a 1/0 2K counter, basically, which is always awesome in my book, since it's an overstated 2K counter, or overstated level 1 counter, which can be used to protect your level 3s and stuff later in the game. Next, we move on to finally the level 2 and 3 game. Level 2, top left hand corner there, we run 2 felt changers. The combo is on play, discard the stock soul, which is on the bottom there, and then you put this card in waiting room, refresh your deck, search out for felt level 3 and play it where this card was, and then search your deck for a felt or Reinhardt and add it to your hand, and then it gives the felt that you played for the turn 1,000 power for the turn, which is nice. Usually you don't get to play this change until your second refresh of the game. It's pretty consistent. When you get this card, you just kind of hold on to it for the remainder of the game as a one of, and then change on your second refresh. If for whatever reason you do end up using this at level 2 for your first refresh, it feels like whenever you get this combo off, it just feels amazing, because as soon as you essentially heal 1 and replace the climax in your hand with a good card for later, or even the 1/0 2K counter, you immediately get to start slamming rems on the board. So it's kind of acts as a heal at the same time, which is really awesome in my opinion when you get a combo this card with the early play level 3 when there's 2 or less climaxes in wait room. Next, we run one of the 2/1 Amelia support that gives 2k to cards in front of this that are level 3. It just ways to protect our early play rems and felts, especially the felts, because if we can keep felt out for level 3 felt out for a few turns, then it just builds so much advantage. Finally, we play this 2/1 counter. I forget her name, but we built a lot of stock in this deck, especially when we start slamming felt level 3s. So we need something to do with all that stock other than just compressing. We run one of these counters, which is a 2/1, I believe 2/5 counter, but it has a secondary effect of when you play this counter, you can pay 4 more stock, pick one of your opponent's characters and rest it. It's great because it's a character too, so you can salvage it with your Brainstormer if you don't really have anything else worth salvaging, if you don't want to get a level 0 Suicider for later or anything like that. And because it's a character, you can constantly bring it back to your hand after using it. I love this card in this deck just because of how much stock the felts can build up in a turn. If you slam 3 felts in one turn, you end up building 6 stock, which is more than enough stock to use this card almost every turn, which is great. Next, we'll move on to the blue level 3 rems. They're early play rems. If you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, it loses a level in your hand, so you can play it early. Come into play heal. Great, keep you at level 2 longer, which is what you want to do mostly nowadays, because the finishing power of a lot of decks can be a little bit crazy. So the longer you can stay at level 2, the better. And also this card helps you compress, because whenever the battle opponent of this card gets reversed, you can pick, I believe, a magic or weapon character from your waiting room, put it underneath as a marker, and the card gains 1k power. So sometimes this card can get out of control if your opponent can't really deal with it right when you play it. It is a 500 understated because of that, I guess, and it's still a really, really good card. So we max this out at 4 of. It's our healer of choice just because of all the small effects it has. And then, like I said, if you play the felt combo early, the changer, it feels so good slamming 2 of these down right after, and then compressing a little bit too. And then there's been a few games where the Rem level 3 has gotten like 5 markers, and it just becomes almost unkillable at that point, and your opponent just gets really, really, really sad because you're just so compressed at that point. Next, top right hand corner there, the Felt level 3 that I was talking about earlier that goes changes with the 2-1. I believe it's like 3 or more other characters. It gains 2k, so it's usually it's 10-5. And then the first effect it has is on attack, look at your deck, pick a magic or weapon character from it, and put it into stock. And the next effect is on attack, you can pay 2 to give one of your characters shot trigger. Basically, what I love about this card, like I said earlier, is the stock building it does, because it helps us play out that 2-1 counter, which I really like, the rest counter. But also it helps you compress your deck after paying out a lot of stock to play level 3s. So you're always building 2 stock per attack, which is great. So it makes these cards, the longer they live, the more advantage you get out of them so much. And then when you know your opponent's really close to dying, you can start stacking triggers onto the last card or something. Or if you want to side for 1 for the guaranteed 1, there has been games where I did side with level 3 that I gave 2 shot triggers on for 1, and they were at 3-6, so they were kind of screwed at that point because they'd have to cancel 3 times in a row. Finally, we run 2 of these Amelia level 3s. These hardly ever get played, especially for their combo. They're kind of in there because we're running the Reinhardt as a 1-of, so it helps us get experience 6, because Reinhardt does need experience 6 to get, I think, like the 5 abilities that he has. Basically, it's almost a carbon copy of the Anastasia level 3 from Cinderella Girls. On attack, or I think it gains some power, I believe. I wish I had the card in front of me now, but I believe it gains some power, and then whenever the battle of opponent of this gets reversed, I think you can send it to memory too. And then I might be wrong on that one though, but I do know the other effect is when the battle opponent of this gets reversed, I believe it's pay 2, kill one of your characters and ditch 1, I believe. And then you can look for the 1-0 puck that we had earlier and bring it on the field standing into any slot you want, and then basically it's a pseudo double strike kinda, which isn't too bad. And what's really nice about that too is you can wait on the felts and then give the burn onto the puck. One bad thing about the combo though is that when the puck does die, it goes to the bottom of the waiting room, and usually wherever you put the puck, it's not going to be strong enough to kill whatever's there or beat it, so it usually ends up going to the bottom of your deck. Finally, we have the Reinhardt. It's in there as a fun thing. It has bodyguard if it's in the center, so everything has to front attack it. But then if you have experience 6 or more, it gains like a bunch of abilities. Like gains like 10k power, so it's 20k. I think it can't be chosen for effects by your opponent and things like that. But the main one we're really looking at too on this, and it's a runner too. And the main thing we're looking at on this card, it gains all those abilities too if it's the only thing on the field basically, but the main thing we're looking at is whenever it reverses the battle opponent, if you discard a card, you can burn 1. Your opponent takes 1 damage. That effect is pretty good because once it runs to the center, it has 20k power, and then it has bodyguard. Your opponent's forced to attack it every turn basically, so on your opponent's turn they could potentially die depending how much, like if they're at like 3-5 or something, they're within kill range if you don't die. Unfortunately, the burn only happens after you reverse them, so you end up taking damage first, and then if you live, then you can burn them for 1. And then finally we have the 4 books and the 4 stock souls. I absolutely hate book, but unfortunately the 1-0 combo is good enough that I'm not going to complain that I'm running book. If I could, I wish I was running like Blue Gate or something else, but unfortunately that's what we're stuck with. This deck overall is pretty good, especially since you have so much consistency on being able to mill your deck and basically always refreshing at level 1, which is great. I don't think this deck has that too many bad matchups. The only bad part about the deck is that it's late game level 3. It's not too amazing compared to ones that can just like outright kill you, kind of like Xenon from Sword Art Online. Just like being able to burn 4 multiple times and stuff like that is really, really good. Whereas this deck is more of try to stay at level 2 a little bit longer and compress as much as you can, and then play abuse your felts and rems as much as you can to win the game, and occasionally cheese the game out with Reinhardt or the 2-1 counter. So let's bring up the deck, the full deck again one more time so we can take a look. But if you guys have any questions about the deck or the channel or content you want to see in the future, just go ahead and leave a comment below. Otherwise, like, follow, subscribe, do all that crazy stuff, and hopefully you'll see more awesome deck profiles in the future. I do know this weekend, this is probably the last video I'm doing until next week. I'm going to the regional in Indiana. Hopefully going to win that with my little crappy Live Life Sunshine deck. If not, I probably will be going to a couple more regionals after that in May and June. But I'm going to try to bring my camera and everything and do some videos on the side if I can. Otherwise, my next video should be my tournament report video I'll be doing about my matches and everything going into that tournament, what I expected and what actually happened. Hopefully I come back as first place and I have a fun story for you guys to listen to. Alright, have a good day, guys.